about, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of prizes. We'll do the charity draw, and we'll do all the prize draws and make sure it's all done for you. So, without further ado, Matteo from Skyscanner, everybody.
Hi there. Thanks for having me today. It's going to be a tough act to live up to the previous talks. They were very interesting, great stuff. So I'll just go through a quick thing. This is what we're planning on speaking about today. So I'll introduce myself, introduce Skyscanner, then we'll talk about our Android app, go through the challenges, strategies, execution, and how we do testing for our Android apps specifically. And then we'll go to questions and competition time. Just to let you know, there will be prizes during my talk, so stay interested, keep your phones ready. It's going to be fun, and some people walk away with goodies. So, some of you may know me from Modoco. I used to be a newsie for Paul's team, and good to meet a lot of the team in real life today. Great stuff. The other places you can find me are Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn. I even have my own blog. But most of you really just see my pictures. You may know this person. A prize to whoever can say that animal's name. Oh,
it's a cat!
Well done, Dan. Prize for you. And who can tell me his Twitter handle? Well done, Mark. Yes, Wobbles is his name, and @FatalGingerCat is his Twitter handle. Let's face it, the internet's all about cats. But when people aren't using the internet to look at cat videos or cat pictures, they use it for lots of other things, including searching for online travel. Skyscanner's known as a travel search engine, but it's actually a travel website. We also do news. We have apps for iOS, Android, BlackBerry, for those of you who have Blackberries, and other platforms as well. We even have a Windows 8 desktop app. So if any of you have a Windows 8 computer, you can get the app in the store there as well. Essentially, we cover flights, car hire, and hotels at the moment. As time goes by, we will be doing a lot more than that. Currently, we have over 30 million app downloads. We're a growing company, both in Europe, in the Americas, in Asia and the Pacific region. So we're a global company, and that brings a lot of challenges to Android and Android app testing. So just to let you know, we have an app. It's available in the Google Play Store. Feel free to take out your phones and download the app. The next prize giveaways will involve using that app. Got it? It'll come up again. And just to let you know, we are recruiting, so if any of you are interested in jobs and working with lots of wonderful devices and technologies, check out skyscanner.net/jobs. Specifically related to Android, we're actually looking for senior and standard Android developers. We have offices in Edinburgh and Glasgow, Singapore, Miami, and Barcelona. So if you're interested, drop me an email later on. So Android, as much as we love it, there are some challenges involved in it. It's a global platform used on millions and millions of devices, lots of different networks, lots of interactions with other platforms, both for users and for our services. And we have a real challenge in dealing with all the thing that some people refer to as Android fragmentation, but there are advantages to it as well. So when we look at our mix, we have to deal with loads of devices, phones and tablets, the platforms, the fact that it's global, all the different networks people are using to connect using our app, and also the evolution of the platform. When I say platform, it's not just the operating system. Our app, once you get through the search of your flight or your car hire, will link you out into a web browser. As many of you know, there are loads of Android web browsers, A lot of people update slowly or don't update, so all the different browser versions create a challenge in themselves. So keeping track of that and then testing against that is a challenge. We have, last time we checked, about 85 million different combinations of scenarios that we could have for an end user on the Android platform, which is good. Just so you know, we're recruiting. So, how do we create a strategy to test our Android app? So we look at internal considerations, so all the different configurations that we can create and replicate in-house, so in our head office or in the other offices around the world. We then look at external considerations, how many other things are out there in the wild that we'll never see or very seldom see. We put all those things together and merge them into a combined test strategy. We know we can't do it all in-house. We try and merge this with external partners. And we then also look at historic data. So we get crash reports, we get analytics data. We put that all together, make some pretty impressive spreadsheets, and come up with a test strategy. We're recruiting, by the way. So, have any of you heard of cloud-based testing or cloud testing? One person? Great. 2, 3. Essentially what happens is some companies specialize in offering cloud testing, which means they have a lab somewhere in the world where you can upload your application and automated test scripts, so programs that automatically test the application to, and run those tests. We then get reports, screenshots, and someone from the company's test team then goes through and analyzes all that and finds potential issues. So if you just think about all the different screen resolutions on Android around the world, this is a good way to start to understand the risks we're dealing with and try and minimize that. Around the world, there are millions of different users. Lab testing, as good as it is, doesn't give us a real-life scenario on how the app's used in the wild. So we also use crowd testing. Have any of you heard of crowd testing things? Are any of you here part of crowd testing schemes? No? There are lots of different companies who will let you sign up. If you have an Android device, you tell them what device you have, what OS version you're running. They'll then get in touch with you and say, you've got this device, do you mind doing some work for us? We'll pay you. And if you're a reliable tester, they'll carry on sending you work. So it can be done as a hobby. Lots of people do this. And Skyscanner, we send out jobs to the agencies, to the companies who do crowd testing, who then send out tests to end users, people, much like the people in this room, enthusiasts, people who really enjoy Android and technology. So when doing crowd testing, we can get real-life testing on real devices with people maybe running Facebook, Twitter, Google+, real-life testing done around the world. So we get even more data, even more tests run through. So essentially we blend these three things together. Testing at our head office, both manual exploratory testing, so people like myself going through the app, seeing if we can find bugs, automated testing in-house. We then try and do the same through cloud testing in labs, and then we add to that through crowd testing. So this is our best way to minimize our risk of launching a global app around the world and getting the quality that we expect our users to receive and that they would expect to receive from us. So to release a quality product, we blend these three things together and get the app as good as we can get it. Our ideal situation is 80% coverage of all the different scenarios around the world. So, in a nutshell, we do data-driven testing. We try and get data about who our users are, how they use their devices. We then constantly improve the quality of our app. There are constant bug fix releases of the app. We automate, we automate, and we automate as much as we can. And we extend our reach with cloud and crowd testing. So In-house exploratory testing is often very good at the initial phases of the app development, but it's never enough. It's never enough, especially in a global market. So just remember, QA, quality assurance, is different from Q&A. Do you have any questions? Anyone interested in asking something?
Have you thought about using the Google Plus beta testing system? Is that something that you want to do?
Not yet. Because of the way our app works, having beta testing doesn't really make sense. If the user knows that they're going to be using the app to book a flight, beta testing is not very good because they might try actually booking a flight through the app and it won't work.
Oh, I see.
So beta testing is done in-house. We try and encourage employees of the company to use the app on their devices, and we get everyone involved in the project in-house. But beta testing is something we've looked into and we're considering in the future. Maybe not necessarily with our current flights app, but with other apps in the future, definitely. That is another avenue.
For crowd testing, is there any way to sort of bypass the sort of middleman, as it were, and go direct to
there is a way of doing that. We could set that up ourselves, but it would be very, very expensive, and we'd have to employ someone to do the middleman's job. The great thing about having a middleman company to do that for us is that they already have a pool of experienced testers, people who have worked with them in the past, who we consider to be reliable, they consider to be reliable. So we're happy to go back to them. It's quite an expensive setup. Skyscanner is a relatively small company. There's just about 400 of us at the moment. But adding that extra is a possibility. But when there are people specialised in it, it might be worth staying on them.
You spend a lot of trouble getting your stuff to do what you expect it to do. How much grief do you get from your source data being not as nice as you'd like it to be, so we say, not in the format you want?
We get a lot of that. So
how do you cope with it?
We currently integrate data from multiple sources. One of them, for example, is a very famous company that starts with a G and has analytics in its name. That data can often be skewed, and we've also noticed that in certain areas of the world, a lot of people tend to spoof their information for various reasons. One example would be, I don't know, have any of you heard of Google Analytics? How it works, yeah? So essentially, when you're in Google Analytics, if you're looking at information for a website or an app, sometimes you'll see in brackets not set. There are multiple reasons that comes up, but in OSs and browsers, that's often a way of spoofing it because the end user likes to get a certain service that's not made for their device. And often app piracy, if people put not set in their operating system, if that's what they're feeding Google, the app developers can't actually trace where that's coming from. So there's a lot of skewed data, and we have to make a judgment call on that to try and guess what's really happening.
Which device cloud do you use, and how do you find it?
Sorry?
Which device cloud is it using a testing cloud service?
Right, we're currently using a partner in the US. I'm not allowed to say who it is. You may have seen the blurry camera shot of the test rack in the States, but it's a US-based one. And there are more and more of these cloud testing labs popping up around the world because there's a big, big demand for them. It's a good way to deliver quality products by running automated test scripts on a whole series of devices. Any other questions? No? That's great. Okay, then we can pass on to the fun bit. We're recruiting. Competition time. So, for this competition, you'll need the Skyscanner Flights app installed on your Android device. Even the one iOS user can use his iOS device. Anyone with a BlackBerry? Windows phone? No? Yeah,
we got some Windows phones.
Yeah, Windows phones, we've got an app there as well. So, what you'll need to do is install the app, QR codes here. It's available on Google Play. And the idea is you tweet. We were going to put the hashtag into it, but the tweets may be a bit too long to include the hashtag. So if you just tweet it at me, at Todoleo, I'll just go back to the first slide. Too many slides. So just tweet at Todoleo with the final link. So you perform a search, go through to the last page, tweet at me with your deep link, your link and the details of the flight. And if you're the first person to successfully guess the destination, you've won the Skyscanner hoodie. Click, click, click. Whoops. Race is on. Guess where the first place is? Everyone ready? First destination, guess where that is? It's an easy one. It has to be from the Skyscanner app on the results page. So you send me the deep link.
Wow.
Yes, Clark, you got the answer right. You didn't send me the deep link. Prodigy should help.
Are you just recording how long it takes people to do this so you can tighten things up later?
I may be going into the office on Monday and looking at all the analytics data and finding out about what happens when many people in one room are using the service at the same time. Okay then, so the first winner is James Norton. Congratulations. Just come round. What size would you like? Extra large or large? Extra. Extra. Congratulations. Okay. Next destination. Are you all ready? Everyone there with their phones? Ready? Next destination is a bit more difficult. It's not, well, it might be Glasgow.
Can it be the sun's okay?